Welcome everyone to a brand new podcast that's all about, well, us. And by us, I mean all of us navigating the daily grind, the little victories, and those moments that make us wonder, is this just my day, or does everyone go through this? I'm Chloe.
And I'm Liam. We're so excited to launch My Day, a podcast where we peel back the layers of our daily lives. From the moment our eyes flutter open to the moment we finally hit the pillow, we're going to explore what a day truly means.
Exactly. And it's not just about what we do, but how we feel doing it. Because let's be honest, some days feel like a sprint, others like a slow-motion movie. And then there are those days that just make you scratch your head and ask, what just happened?
Absolutely. Today, we're kicking things off by talking about the start of the day. The morning, for some, it's a sacred ritual, a quiet moment of peace. For others, it's a chaotic dash to get out the door. Which one are you, Chloe?
Oh, Liam, that's a loaded question. My ideal morning? Picture this. I wake up naturally, no alarm, around 7 o'clock a.m. The sun is gently streaming through the window. I do about 20 minutes of mindful stretching or maybe some yoga. Then I make myself a beautiful, healthy breakfast, maybe some overnight oats with berries and nuts, or a perfectly scrambled egg with avocado toast. I sip my tea slowly, read a bit, and feel completely refreshed and ready to tackle the day with boundless energy.
Sounds like a brochure for a wellness retreat. And your actual morning today, on this lovely Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Here in Madrid, I can tell you it's already a pretty bright and sunny day, so no excuses there.
You got me. My actual morning today? My alarm went off at 6:45 a.m. and I immediately hit snooze. Twice. Then I finally dragged myself out of bed, realized I had about 15 minutes to get ready, stumbled into the kitchen, grabbed a banana, chugged some instant coffee, and practically ran out the door. So, definitely more chaotic dash than mindful stretching. How about you, Liam? Are you more of a Zen master in the mornings or a fellow coffee-chugging sprinter?
I'd say I'm somewhere in the middle, leaning towards the Zen master if I'm lucky. But life often pulls me towards the sprinter side. My typical morning usually starts early, around 6 a.m. I'm a big believer in consistency. First thing, I make a proper cup of coffee. The smell alone helps me wake up. Then I usually check the news headlines, maybe glance at my emails, just to get a sense of what the day holds. I try to do some light stretches, nothing too intense, just to wake my body up. And then it's a quick breakfast, usually just muesli or yogurt. I like that quiet time before the house really comes alive.
So, you're a creature of habit then? I admire that. I always tell myself I'm going to stick to a routine, but then something inevitably throws me off. Like yesterday morning, for instance. I was all set to have a productive start, and then my neighbor's dog started barking nonstop at m. There went my peaceful wake up.
I can relate to unexpected disruptions. Just last week, I woke up to find we had a power outage. No coffee machine. That was a true test of my morning routine resilience. I ended up having to boil water on the gas stove for instant coffee. And my usual quiet news reading was replaced by trying to find my phone charger in the dark. It just goes to show, no matter how much you plan, sometimes the day has other ideas.
Exactly. And that's what we want to talk about today. How do we cope when our perfect morning plans go completely off script? Are you someone who gets easily frustrated, or do you just roll with it? I think I'm definitely the former, at least initially.
I try to roll with it, but it depends on the day. If I'm already stressed, a small disruption can feel huge. But I've learned that getting upset just makes things worse. It's better to find a quick solution and move on. What about our listeners? We've already had some amazing messages come in about their mornings.
We sure have. It's fascinating to hear how diverse mornings are. Let's play a couple of voicemails we received.
Hi, Chloe and Liam. This is Marco from Rome, Italy. My mornings are usually a bit chaotic but fun. My kids wake me up, usually by jumping on the bed. Then it's a quick breakfast, usually just a cornetto and an espresso at the local bar on the way to dropping them off at school. I love the energy of the streets in the morning, everyone rushing, the smell of coffee everywhere. It's a very social start to the day, even if it's fast.
Marco from Rome. The idea of starting the day with a cornetto and an espresso at a bustling bar sounds pretty amazing. Definitely a different vibe from my quiet kitchen.
Right? And the social aspect. That's something I miss on my rushed mornings. Okay, let's hear another one.
Hello, this is Anya from Poland, Krakow. For me, the morning is crucial. I wake up before the sun, around 5:30 a.m. I live not far from Krakow, actually, so it's quite peaceful. I spend about an hour meditating and drinking herbal tea. It's my time to set intentions for the day and find my inner calm before the world gets busy. I never check my phone until after this hour. It makes a huge difference to my entire day.
Wow, Anya from Krakow, that sounds incredibly disciplined and peaceful. That's the kind of morning routine many of us aspire to, myself included. No phone for an hour. That's a challenge in itself these days.
It really is, and it's so interesting to hear the contrast. Marco's high energy, social morning versus Enya's quiet, introspective one. It just proves that there's no single right way to start your day. It's about what works for you.
Absolutely, and we want to hear more of your stories. What does your morning look like? Are you a Marco, an Anya, or something completely different? You can send us a voice message.
We'll be sharing more of your messages throughout the episode. But for now, we need to transition from the morning chaos or calm into the main event, the mid-morning momentum. Because after breakfast and the commute, the real work or study often begins.
So, Chloe, once you've recovered from your instant coffee dash, what does your mid-morning typically involve? Are you diving straight into complex tasks, or do you ease into the day?
I try to ease in, but sometimes the to-do list just screams at me. My mid-morning is usually a mix of creative work and administrative tasks. So, I might be brainstorming ideas for new podcast episodes like this one, writing scripts, or researching topics. But then I also have to answer emails, schedule meetings, or handle invoices. It's a constant juggle. What's your biggest mid-morning challenge, Liam? Mine is definitely getting distracted by notifications.
Notifications are the enemy of focus, aren't they? My biggest mid-morning challenge is probably staying completely focused on one task. When I have several important things to do, I often find myself wanting to jump between them. Today, for example, my main mid-morning task is preparing for a client presentation later this afternoon. It requires a lot of detailed research and pulling information together. I try to block out a solid 2 hours for it.
Do you use any specific techniques to stay focused? I've heard of the Pomodoro technique, working in 25-minute bursts with short breaks. Does that work for you?
I do. The Pomodoro technique is a lifesaver for me, especially for tasks that feel overwhelming. Breaking it down into those focused 25-minute sprints really helps. And those 5-minute breaks in between are crucial. For stretching, grabbing a glass of water, or just giving my eyes a rest from the screen. Another thing I try to do is tackle the hardest task first in the morning. Get it out of the way, and the rest of the day feels lighter. What about you? Do you prefer to tackle the hardest task first or ease into your day with easier things?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm guilty of sometimes doing the easier, quicker tasks first just to feel productive, even if it means putting off the big, scary one. It's a mental game, isn't it? But you're right, getting the hardest thing done feels amazing. Sometimes I try to designate specific days for specific types of work. Like, Mondays are for planning and emails, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are for creative deep dives. It helps, but it's never perfect.
And, speaking of deep dives, there's a concept called deep work, essentially working on a single task without any distractions for an extended period. It's incredibly hard in our connected world, but supposedly, that's where the truly impactful work gets done. I'm still trying to master it.
Me too. Maybe we should make it a challenge for our listeners this week. Try to find just 1 hour for deep work in your mid-morning. Turn off all notifications, close all unnecessary tabs, and just focus. Let us know if you manage it.
Now, Chloe, we've talked about our own mornings and some of our listeners, but daily routines are so often influenced by culture. Let's take a look at breakfast and commute habits in different parts of the world. We've got a clip from someone who lives quite far from us here in Ukraine.
Good morning, my name is Kenji, and I live in Tokyo, Japan. My day starts very early, around 5:45 a.m. For breakfast, we usually have a traditional Japanese meal: rice, miso soup, grilled fish, and some pickles. It's a very nourishing start. Then, for my commute, I take the train. Japanese trains are very punctual, almost always on time. They can be very crowded during rush hour, but people are very quiet and respectful. Many people read or even sleep on the train. It's a calm but busy journey.
Wow, Kenji from Tokyo. A traditional Japanese breakfast sounds incredible. And so different from my grab and go banana. And the idea of a very quiet and respectful commute, even when crowded, is fascinating. I feel like on some of our local marshrutkes, it's definitely not always quiet.
You're right there, Chloe. The punctuality of Japanese trains is legendary. And the idea of people being quiet and reading on the train really highlights a cultural difference in public spaces. Here, while people are generally respectful, a quiet commute might be a bit of a luxury sometimes. It's all part of the unique fabric of our daily lives. Liam.
It really is. And it makes you think about how our environment shapes our routines. If you live somewhere with fantastic public transport, your morning looks completely different from someone who has to drive in heavy traffic every day.
Exactly. These cultural insights really broaden our perspective on what a typical day can be. And that brings us to the end of our first segment for today. We've unpacked our mornings, heard from listeners, looked at strategies for mid-morning focus, and even taken a quick trip to Tokyo.
What a start. When we come back, we're going to dive into the afternoon slump, how we combat that midday energy dip, and perhaps some unexpected things that can happen in the afternoon. Plus, we'll have more of your amazing stories.
Grab a coffee, stretch your legs, and we'll be right back with more My Day.
Welcome back to My Day, Your Way. You are with Chloe and Liam, and we're continuing our deep dive into the fascinating world of our daily lives. Before the break, we talked about mornings: the good, the bad, and the unexpected. Now, we're moving into that part of the day where, for many of us, energy levels start to, well, Let's just say they start to think about taking a nap.
You're talking about the afternoon slump, aren't you, Chloe? That feeling after lunch when your brain just wants to switch off and your eyes might get a little heavy. It's a real phenomenon, but before we tackle that, let's talk about lunch itself. It's the official halfway point of the typical workday or study day. What does your lunch break usually look like, Chloe? Is it a sacred, leisurely affair, or more of a quick refuel?
Oh, it should be a sacred, leisurely affair. My ideal lunch would involve stepping away from my desk, going for a short walk, and then enjoying a delicious, healthy meal, maybe with a friend or colleague, chatting about anything but work.
And your reality?
My reality today, and most days, is usually a frantic scramble to finish something before the clock hits 1, then realizing I haven't even thought about lunch. So, I grab whatever's quick, usually a pre-made sandwich or some leftovers, and eat it at my desk while still answering emails. It's a bad habit, I know. I always tell myself I need to take a proper break. But the day just flies by.
I totally get that. It's so easy to just power through. My lunch habits vary. If I'm at the office, I try to go to the kitchen area and eat with colleagues. It's good to have that social interaction and a change of scenery. If I'm working from home, I often make something quick, like a big salad or some pasta. And then I'll actually take it to the living room and watch a short YouTube video or read a chapter of a book. I try to make it a conscious break from the screen.
That's smart. The conscious break is key. Because if you just keep staring at the same screen, your brain doesn't truly rest. Do you find that taking a proper lunch break actually helps you with that afternoon slump?
Absolutely. I've noticed a huge difference. On days when I take a real break, even if it's just 20 minutes, I come back to my desk feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the afternoon. On days when I eat at my desk, I often feel sluggish and less focused by 3 p.m. It's almost counterintuitive, right? You feel like you're saving time by working through lunch, but you actually lose productivity later.
So true. It's all about finding that balance. What about our listeners? Are you someone who always takes a proper lunch break? Or are you guilty of eating at your desk like me? We want to know. Send us your lunch confessions. We've got a message here from Lena in Odessa, Ukraine. She says, "My go-to quick lunch is always a bowl of borscht if I can find a good one nearby. It's warm, filling, and feels like home. And yes, I try to get away from my desk for at least 30 minutes, even if it's just to sit by the window."
Oh, borscht is a fantastic choice, especially this time of year. And good for Lena for getting away from her desk. It's those little things that make a big difference, isn't it? Speaking of things that make a difference, let's talk about the unpredictable afternoon. Because as much as we plan our days, life loves to throw a curveball. Chloe, do you have a story about an afternoon that went completely off the rails due to something unexpected?
Oh, Liam, where do I even begin? Just last month, I had an afternoon packed with deadlines. I was completely focused, typing away, when suddenly, my internet just died. Completely, nothing. I tried everything, restarting the router, checking cables, nothing worked. My heart just sank because all my work relies on an internet connection. I spent 2 hours on the phone with my internet provider, trying to fix it. My afternoon plans completely evaporated. It was so frustrating.
That's a nightmare scenario for anyone working remotely. How did you deal with it? Did you just give up for the day?
Almost, but I realized stressing wasn't going to fix the internet. So, I grabbed my laptop and went to a local cafe that had Wi-Fi. It wasn't ideal, and I lost valuable time, but at least I was able to finish some urgent tasks there. It definitely Taught me a lesson about having a backup plan. What about you? Has anything unexpected ever completely derailed your afternoon?
More times than I can count. A couple of months ago, I was in the middle of a very important video conference, and suddenly my phone started ringing off the hook. It was my sister. My nephew had a minor accident at school, nothing serious. Thankfully, but she needed me to pick him up because she was stuck in a meeting. So, I had to quickly explain to my team, cut out of the conference, and rush across town. It completely changed my entire afternoon, from work mode to uncle mode.
That's a perfect example. It's those moments when you have to pivot immediately. How do you react in those situations? Do you get stressed out, or are you pretty good at just adapting?
I try to be adaptable. My first reaction is usually a quick surge of adrenaline. But then I try to calmly assess the situation and figure out the best course of action. I've learned that getting angry or frustrated doesn't help anyone, especially not my nephew in that situation. It's about finding the silver lining, or at least the solution, even if it's not what you planned.
That's such a good mindset to have. And it's not always about negative surprises, right? Sometimes the unexpected can be positive. I remember one afternoon I was feeling a bit drained, and then out of nowhere, an old friend who was just passing through Pishhenka called me up and suggested a spontaneous coffee. It completely lifted my spirits and made my afternoon so much brighter than I expected.
That's fantastic. See, those little moments of unexpected joy can really make a day. So, for our listeners, here's a quick what if scenario. Imagine it's Wednesday afternoon. You're deeply focused on something important. And suddenly, what happens? Does your boss call you into an urgent meeting? Do you get a surprise visit from a relative? How would you react in that moment? Pause and think about it.
Well, whether your afternoon is going exactly to plan or completely off script, we all want to maintain some level of productivity and, crucially, a good mood. So, we reached out to a virtual expert, Dr. Anya Petrova, a productivity and well-being coach. We asked her for some quick tips to combat that dreaded afternoon slump.
Hello, everyone. The afternoon slump is very real, but it's not inevitable. My top 3 tips are simple but effective. First, hydrate. Dehydration can cause fatigue. Keep a water bottle at hand and sip throughout the afternoon. Second, move your body. Even 5 to 10 minutes of light stretching or a quick walk around the block can significantly boost your energy and clear your head. Don't just sit there. And third, practice mindful breathing. If you feel your energy dipping or stress rising, take 3 deep breaths. Inhale slowly through your nose. Hold for a few seconds and exhale slowly through your mouth. It resets your focus and calms your nervous system. These small actions can make a big difference to your afternoon.
Fantastic advice from Dr. Petrova. Hydration, movement, and mindful breathing. So simple, yet so often overlooked. Chloe, which of those tips do you find most challenging to incorporate into your afternoon? And which one could you start doing more of?
Oh, definitely the movement one. I get so engrossed in what I'm doing that I forget to stand up, let alone stretch or walk, but I really should. I do try to hydrate, but I often forget until I feel thirsty. The mindful breathing is something I've been trying to do more of, especially when I feel overwhelmed. It really does help to just pause for a moment. What about you, Liam? Any of those resonate particularly strongly?
For me, it's the movement. I'm also guilty of sitting for too long. I've started setting a timer on my phone to remind me to stand up and walk around every 45 minutes or so. Even just going to get another glass of water or stretching my arms above my head helps. And the mindful breathing is something I do before meetings if I feel a bit nervous or scattered. It helps to collect my thoughts.
It's all about creating those micro habits, isn't it? Small changes that add up to a better, more productive, and happier afternoon.
Exactly, and that takes us to the end of our second hour. We've navigated the afternoon slump, talked about unexpected twists, and got some great tips from an expert.
Coming up in our final hour, we'll be talking about winding down, how we transition from our busy days to our personal evenings, evening routines, and finally, reflecting on the day as a whole. It's going to be a great wrap-up.
So, stay with us, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the final hour of My Day. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Liam. We've journeyed through the chaos and calm of our mornings, navigated the midday slump, and now we're gliding into the evening. This last hour is all about winding down, disconnecting, and finally, reflecting on the day we've just lived.
That transition from work or study to personal time can be a real challenge for many, myself included. It's like switching off one part of your brain and switching on another. Liam, what does your commute home or the end of your workday usually look like? How do you separate your work life from your home life?
That's a great question, Chloe, and it's something I actively try to manage. If I'm driving home, I often listen to a specific podcast or an audiobook. It helps to shift my focus away from work tasks and towards something purely for my own interest. It's like a mental buffer. If it's been a really intense day, sometimes I just drive in silence just to decompress. I find that silence helps me process things and let go of any lingering stress from the day.
That makes sense. It's your decompression zone. My commute, whether I'm taking the Marshrutka or walking, is usually my time to reflect. I often look out the window and just observe people or listen to music that helps me relax. Sometimes, if I've had a particularly challenging day, I'll even make a mental list of 3 good things that happened, no matter how small. It helps me end the journey on a positive note. Do you ever do that? Try to find the good in a difficult day?
I try to, especially if it's been tough. It's a great way to shift your perspective. I think it's important to have some kind of ritual that signals the end of the work or study day. Otherwise, the lines can get really blurry, especially with so many of us working from home now.
Absolutely. And speaking of commutes, we have some commute confessions from our listeners. Let's hear from Bogdan in Germany, Berlin.
Hey guys, Bogdan here from Berlin. My commute is usually a chaotic dance on the tram. It's always packed, but I love watching the city lights. One time, I actually helped an elderly lady find her lost cat's photo on her phone. It was hilarious. My commute is never boring, that's for sure.
A chaotic dance on the tram. I love that description. And helping with a lost cat photo. That's definitely an unexpected commute story. It just goes to show, you never know what you'll encounter on your way home.
You really don't. It's those little human interactions, those unexpected moments that can make even a routine commute memorable. Thanks for sharing, Bogdan. So, once we're home, or our work is truly done, how do our evenings typically unfold? Liam, what's your usual evening routine like? Do you have a specific way you unwind and prepare for the next day?
Once I'm home, my first priority is usually dinner. I actually enjoy cooking, so that's often my way to switch off from work. It's a hands-on activity that requires focus, but in a different way. After dinner, it depends on the day. Some evenings are for spending time with my family. Maybe playing a board game or watching a movie together. Other evenings, if I have free time, I might work on a personal project, read, or go for a run. Before bed, I try to pack my lunch for the next day and lay out my clothes. It's a small thing, but it saves so much time and stress in the morning.
That's very organized. I always intend to prepare things the night before, but it often doesn't happen. My evenings are a bit more varied. Sometimes I'll hit the gym right after work to release some energy. Other nights, I just want to collapse on the sofa with a good book or catch up on a TV series. I also try to do something creative, like drawing or playing music, at least a couple of times a week. I find that helps me clear my head. How important is it for you to disconnect from screens in the evening, Liam?
It's incredibly important and probably my biggest challenge. The temptation to keep checking emails or scrolling social media is strong. I try to put my phone away at least an hour before bed. It doesn't always happen perfectly, but I notice a huge difference in my sleep quality when I do. What about socializing? Do you prefer a quiet evening at home or being out with friends?
It depends on my energy levels. After a really busy day, I crave a quiet evening at home. But I also love catching up with friends, having a good laugh, and just disconnecting from my own routine. It's a balance, isn't it? We have a listener question about evening routines that just came in.
Hi, Chloe and Liam. This is David from Brazil. I always struggle with my evening routine. By the time I finish work and dinner, I feel too tired to do anything productive for myself. Do you have any tips for staying motivated to do something after a long day, or is it okay to just relax?
That's such a relatable question, David. It's a common feeling. Chloe, what's your take on this?
David, it is absolutely okay to just relax. Honestly, after a long day, sometimes, your body and mind just need rest. Don't feel guilty about that. But if you want to do something for yourself and feel too tired, my tip would be to start incredibly small. Don't aim for a full workout or learning a new language. Maybe just 15 minutes of reading or listening to your favorite music or a 5-minute stretch. Even that little bit can make a difference and build momentum over time. And also, preparing the night before, like Liam mentioned, can free up mental energy.
I completely agree. It's about being kind to yourself. If you're truly exhausted, forcing yourself to do something productive might just lead to burnout. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do for yourself is simply rest. But if you have a little energy, try to find something that truly brings you joy. Even if it's just for a few minutes. Don't make it another chore.
As we approach the very end of our My Day journey, we want to talk about something incredibly powerful: reflection. Taking a moment to look back on your day. Liam, do you have any kind of daily reflection practice?
I do, actually, though it's not always formal. Before I go to sleep, I often just mentally scroll through my day. I try to identify one thing that went well, or one thing I learned, or even one small moment I'm grateful for. Even on a challenging day, there's usually something. It helps me end the day on a positive note and process everything. What about you, Chloe? Do you journal or just reflect mentally?
I used to journal more regularly, but now it's more of a mental reflection, like you. I try to think about what went well, what could have gone better, and what I'm thankful for. It's not just about the big things, is it? Sometimes I'm grateful for a good cup of coffee, or a kind word from a stranger, or the sunshine on my face. Those little moments of gratitude can really shift your perspective.
They really can. It helps you appreciate the richness of everyday life, even the mundane parts. It reminds you that every day, no matter how typical, is filled with unique moments.
And that's really the core message of My Day. Our days might have routines, but they're never truly identical. They're filled with unexpected moments, small victories, and opportunities for connection, learning, and growth.
Exactly. From the sleepy start to the reflective end, every single day is unique, and it's your day to shape.
Well, Liam, we've covered so much today. From chaotic mornings to afternoon slumps, unexpected twists, evening routines, and the power of reflection. It's been a fascinating look at something we all share, our daily lives.
It really has. We want to thank all of you for joining us on this journey through my day. We hope you found it insightful, relatable, and maybe even picked up a new tip or two for your own daily routine.
We'd love to hear your day in review for today. What's one thing you're grateful for from your day? What's one thing you learned? Share it with us on social media, using #MyDayYourWay, or send us a voice message.
And join us next time when we'll be exploring a new theme, the weekend vibe. How do our days change when the routine shifts, and what do we do with our precious free time?
It's going to be another engaging discussion. Until then, from me, Chloe.
And me, Liam, take care and make the most of your day, your way.